Good morning. Great to have you here this morning for meditation. We had a very rousing service this morning. Many of our normal participants weren't able to make it, but my son David for sure did, and we had to do a cosmic dance with the wounded child to get through service. But in the end, it's a wonderful expression of what our lives are all about. We have to work with things as they are, to recognize the infinite joy that's always present and possible when we look past our expectations to see what's actually there. There's an old verse in a text called the Shinjinmei that opens up, "The great way is not difficult. It just avoids picking and choosing. Make a hair's breadth of distinction, and heaven and earth are set apart." It's a very difficult conundrum, because we say the great way isn't difficult, and of course all of our ears perk up. Oh, this is it. He's finally got the antidote. He's going to tell us what the secret is. Well, just don't pick and choose. Oh, okay. Well, then there's that, right? Our expectations, versus things as they are. And anytime there's a distinction or separation between those two, a potential difference begins to form. The further apart those plates are, the more, the stronger the lightning bolts between them are. Those lightning bolts represent our suffering. This isn't a philosophy. This is the practical essence of our lived experience we're talking about. Every day, perhaps 1,000 times or more, if we're living in the annals of the small self, we part heaven and earth. I like this. I don't like that. This isn't the way it's supposed to go. There's an old story in the Shōyōroku between two masters that addresses this very point. It's the 17th case. And it goes like this. Attention. Hōgen asked the administrator monk Shuzan if there's even a hair's breadth of difference. Heaven and earth are clearly separated. How do you understand this? Shuzan said, if there's even a hair's breadth of difference, heaven and earth are clearly separated. Hōgen said, well, if that's so, then how could you understand it? Shuzan replied, I'm just like this. How about you, Osho? And again, Hōgen said, if there's even a hair's breadth of difference, heaven and earth are clearly separated. And at this, Shuzan bowed low. That's the whole thing. It's a whole exchange, one back and forth. And somehow, the Dharma is being transmitted. So, how do you understand this? That's already dangerous. Because to understand something means there's someone standing apart, someone looking at it. Already, the distinction creates that hair's breadth, and heaven and earth have parted. That's how subtle it is. That's how fast it takes place. The moment we step back from what's happening, the moment we try to comprehend or control, we've lost it. The great way slips away. Not because it's hiding, but because we've made a viewer and a viewed. So Hōgen throws out this question to see where Shuzan stands on the matter. Shuzan doesn't move. He doesn't explain. He doesn't decorate. He doesn't embellish. He says, he doesn't even pretend to have an understanding, by the way, of the matter. He just gives it right back. If there's a hair's breadth of difference, heaven and earth are clearly separated. He gives back exactly what is present, what is given. Now, some of you might think that's clever. He's just repeating the teacher. But that's not what's happening. This repetition is not some echo. It's breathing the same breath. When the mind is clear, the words are not the same. When there's no one grasping, then it just flows naturally. So Hōgen hears it and he presses. Or does he hear it, right? If that's so, then how could you understand it? And that's where the hammer falls. If there's no gap between heaven and earth, then who's left to understand? What is there left to understand anyway? There's no subject and object. If it's all one piece, then what is you and what is it? And who's the one asking this question? So you can kind of feel the trap close in around you on this, right? If you answer, you've created the gap. If you don't answer, you've created a gap. So what does Shuzan do? He steps straight through the middle, right into the case as it stands. I am just this. What about you, teacher? I am just this. Not I understand or I don't understand, or I'm enlightened or I'm confused. We drop off the I in the numerator, and then we meet the cosmic denominator. When it's dropped off, the infinite present manifests. But it isn't just temporal, right? It's spatial as well. Just this. Nowhere else. He stands right in the middle of the world and encompasses the whole world. The place where we're standing right now is just this. Heaven and earth, they're already one. With the turning of, how about you, Osho? When you truly stand in just this, there's no room left for comparison, not even between teacher and student. There's only mirror meeting mirror, sky reflecting sky. So Hōgen does the same thing again. He repeats it. If there's even a hair's breadth of difference, heaven and earth are clearly separated. The same line, but it reflects differently. It's not a question. It's confirmation. It's transmission. There's no line from that crazy Uncle Dogen of ours where he says, before enlightenment, chop firewood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop firewood, carry water. And we say, well, that's just him resigned to his fate. No. Well, he said the same thing, didn't he? No. They're far apart away as east is from west. The Great One speaking the same word from the same silence. And Shuzan bows. He's not agreeing. He's not bowing to authority. He's bowing to that living presence that they now recognize is present and is being shared. It's not separate. The bow is the whole of practice. It's interesting to see that when we talk about this hair's breadth distinction, it sounds tiny, but in experience it's very vast. You woke up maybe this morning and you thought, I'm tired. There it is. There it is. We're off to the races. You sit in the cushion and you think, boy, my mind's a mess. There it is again. Someone says something, maybe sharp, and you think, how dare they? And there it is. The birth of the world as you know it, or as you expect it. The hair's breadth is the instant you move away from the immediacy of what's present. When you prefer or resist, you've made it. When you say, I'm in sync with it, it's gone as well. And this is what the Shinjin Mei, when it says, when love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. It's not saying, don't feel love and hate. It's saying, don't use them to build a construct. Don't use them to build a new world out of them. See them come, see them go, and stay put, be present. As long as there's measuring, heaven and earth will never meet. There's a verse that comes after it. There's a preface, rather, before this case, as there is in all the cases of Shōyōroku. Paired geese beating the ground with their wings fly up high. A pair of wooden ducks stand alone at the end of a pond. Leaving aside the matter of arrow points meeting head on, what about sawing on a steel counterweight? It's beautiful, picturesque. We have geese and ducks, one pair in motion, one pair in stillness, alive and dead. Both, though, complete. Both complete expressions of the way. But then he goes on to say, leaving aside arrow points meeting head on, right? In other words, leaving aside things being in perfect accord. What about sawing on steel? Yeah. What about when life grinds? What about when things are difficult? Yeah. What about when things don't align? When you don't see the harmony? That's where the practice really begins. It's not hard to smile and feel the expansiveness when you look up the sky and see the geese flying in formation. But when the saw catches steel, yeah, can you appreciate the beauty and the wonder there too? Can you stay in rhythm with what's happening even when it screeches? That's just this, The poem at the end of the verse. A fly settles on a balance pan and it tilts. The 10,000 generation scale illuminates unevenness. Pounds, ounces, pennyweights, grains. Measure exactly as you will. In the end, you'll lose to my fixed indicator. A fly lands, just a fly, and the scale tips. It's how delicate this practice is. It's how subtle. The smallest thing, if we're latching on, if we're grasping, can throw us off. One thought, one word, one look, one tone. And so we start measuring. I should be more patient. I'm too distracted. I'm not there yet. I'll never get there. The scale is registering, it's moving. Yeah? We start weighing our life as if the way was something you could quantify. But the verse says, measure exactly as you will. In the end, you'll lose to my fixed indicator. The fixed indicator is the expansive big mind that includes everything. It's that place before it's grasping onto all the matters that we subjectify or come up within, or objectify and come up within there. Before it measures, before it chooses. You can have faith in that mind when it's unmoved, it's already whole. And when you live from that place, the fly can land, the scale can tilt, everything's still in balance. We talk about that text, The Great Way isn't difficult, but it just avoids picking and choosing. It's from a text called Faith in Mind. But this faith doesn't mean believing something. It means trusting the very ground you stand on. Trusting that it's already the way. The text says, don't go to seek for the truth, only cease to cherish opinions. That's the trust. To stop cherishing our opinions, to stop polishing our own reflections, to stop trying to adjust the world, or adjusting ourselves to the world. When Shuzan says, I'm just this, he's living that faith in mind. Not faith in an idea, not faith in a teacher, faith in this breath, this heartbeat, this instant, this moment that can't be divided. And when Hōgen repeats the line, he's showing that same faith. Heaven and earth, teacher and student, question and answer, one motion. And Shuzan bows. Don't overlook that. That's perhaps the most important thing. He's moved to reverence, and his expression thereof is the bowing. Sometimes it's bowing. Sometimes it's offering a cup of tea. Sometimes it's going out and feeding somebody who's hungry. Sometimes it's conceding the argument, even when you know you're right. Yeah. Just put it down. Put it down. So today, look for that hair's breadth of difference. Look for where you split heaven and earth. Maybe it's in the thought, this talk has gone too long. Yeah. Either way, there it is. Our practice isn't to close the gap. It's to step into it. And from that position, transcend it. Yeah. When we truly bow to it, heaven and earth will bow with you. This is, I am just this. So just this.